All right. Welcome. I'm Tim Lumberg. I'm your aspiring artist. And we're live on Twitch right now and on YouTube. So dual streaming today. What am I working on? If you've been here the last couple times I've streamed, I've been working on some pages from Marvel scripts. Trying to get some actual Marvel stuff on digital paper anyway, on paper, to be ready for New York City Comic Con. And so you've seen this page. I just want to give people an update where I'm at. So this page, this is from a script from Mighty Avengers. Um, and then the second page, we've seen that as well. And then uh, the third page, this is the one you guys saw me working on quite a bit. Last time I completely took out Luke Cage, and then put in a new version of Luke Cage in that first panel. So if you saw what I was doing the last stream, that's what you would have saw. You would have saw the drawing of Luke Cage there doing that uppercut on another page, and I just put it in, and then had to do some editing on the background and everything like that to make it fit the rest of the panel. But you kind of get an idea of that. So I actually got that done, and I thought that looked better than the original piece that I did. So that's where I entered Luke Cage there. And then the next page and the final page from Mighty Avengers that I did is Superior Spider-Man swinging down and kicking the Plunderer right in the face. So that's where we're at for that. Now between the last stream and then I then just wanted to do a couple pages that were less actiony, right, and more about because not every comic book page is action, and I think it's important that I show some diversity uh, of uh, of what I can do and everything like that. And so I did U.S. Avengers, and so you got this page right here with Golden Skull, um, he's talking, walking on stage, with his thugs, listening in and everything like that. And then and then this is the second page of that. So a couple things that um, you might notice. One, so I wasn't very familiar with Golden Skull and what that look was, so I just went by the uh, description and everything like that, like aristocracy, pirate type look and everything like that. And if you look in the I look after, right. I don't want to have the actual artwork be something that influences me in any subconscious way. So I avoid looking at the actual comic until after. Um, but I pulled it up after, and like the original one had like more of like a pirate boot on there, and you see I went with very much that European, that old like style, like leggings, socks, whatever, where they're showing the calf. And I did that on purpose because based on the script that I read, it's very much about Golden Skull, like being about wealth and using money and gold as like the means to his power and everything like that. And one of the things that I learned in my many history tours and um, museum visits, because my family's always big on that, is showing off the calf was like a big sign of like money and influence and everything like that, showing how big your calf muscles were. So that's why they had the shoes that had a little bit of heel on them and everything like that, so the men can, and why they stood the certain way to emphasize their calf. So I like that makes sense. So you'll see the look doesn't exactly match the comic, the actual Marvel one that was put out. But anyway, so that's where we're at. So now I want to do some more pages, right? But I want to change it up again. I don't want to keep doing the same stuff. I want to give a little bit of variety. And so the next pages that I'm gonna do, that one thing that will be different is I'm gonna try to do it no inking, just pencils. So again, I can give Marvel some different diversity of what I'm capable of, because maybe they'll look at my work that I've done so far and be like, could be good, but your inking's terrible. We wish we saw your pencils. Something, I don't know. I want to make sure that I give myself like the full view, and I decided I'm gonna go with Black Panther. And so, um, I think I'm gonna go with I've been reading some scripts, and the one thing I do is I always cover like I take napkins in and cover up any artwork ahead of time real quick so that I don't know what's going on in the original, like I said. But I think I'm gonna do this Killmonger issue. So I'm just gonna read the script real quick so you kind of have an idea what I'm working on, and then I'm just gonna start uh like thumbnailing because I'm really early. Hey man, what's up? Good to see you. All right, so the first page of Killmonger, it's a 9-page grid or 9-panel grid, excuse me. A lot of close-ups. So close-up of Eric's angry eye. Panel 2, Killmonger smashing T'Challa in the face. Panel 3, T'Challa's hand splashed in water, scraped up blood, everything like that. Panel 4, close-up of T'Challa's nostril, blood coming from it. Panel 5, T'Challa throws a punch, but Eric blocks it. And then panel 6, Black Panther sneering at us. Hunter's eyes narrowed into slits. He's mad. He hates us, as it says there. Panel 7, Eric's hand grips T'Challa's throat, and we're close up under T'Challa's chin. Eric's hand is bruised, scraped knuckles as well. And then panel 8, close on Eric's most sneering, grim satisfaction. And then panel 9, an actual panther. So that's where we're at. Uh, and that's what I'm gonna try to work on. So let's start with the 9 panel. Like again, this is gonna be, anybody tuning in hoping for something sharp and really complete today. I apologize because I'm just doing the really early layout right now, but we'll see. We'll see where we get to. And when I do layouts and stuff like that, I go with like a big marker, right? So like you can see, super sloppy. I just want to again try to get the feel of what the page is gonna look like. All right, but we need a 9-panel grid, right? It was 9-panel. Yeah, 9-panel grid. So I gotta think about how I want that to look. Um, we're gonna have to do it, right? It'd be essentially, obviously, better dimensions, but like essentially that's the look. Oh my god, even for my sloppiness, I can't handle that. I want to be at least somewhat close to what I'm gonna work with. Sure. All right. All right. It's approximate. I'll get real tight when I start getting past the layout stage. All right. So, all right. That first one, close up look at Eric's eye, right? And it's angry. I got to make sure I have room for, I want to get close on that eye. I'm thinking, but I need to have enough space around it where you can see, some anger, rage lines. You know, um, Eric panel 2 would be Eric smashes into T'Challa's face. There's a bunch of ways I could do that, including like classic, like where it just show like fist face right from a side view. Ooh, but I don't love that. Um, Does remind me of something from the movie or from the comic Kick-Ass though. I'm pretty sure I saw that somewhere, but I don't love that. I got to think about I could have the fist, coming up this way, or I could do it the opposite where the fist is coming this way. I think I like that, right? Where like maybe like T'Challa's faces. Maybe like that, and the fist is coming around. Maybe more to do. This is coming this way. Let's just turn slightly. Maybe some blood getting spit out. Oof. Think. All right. And then let's see T'Challa's hand splashing in water as he catches himself on the ground. Let's see. We want to have the crown of water splashed because that'll be blood, like pink from blood. And again, I really should have the grid like a separate. I'm gonna do this, yeah. So I have options. Like I could do um where it's coming straight down, right, and he catches himself. Really emphasize the knuckles. Um, or I could do hmm, something like where he catches himself more like on his more sideways. Water splashes around. Again, good emphasis on the knuckles and the blood there. I'm gonna have to figure out more detail on that one. Hmm. Um. All right. So next panel, let's do it again so I can test some different things. Um. And it says close on blood running from T'Challa's nostrils. So a few different ways. Like I could have like one thing that might look good is if he's like if it's like close up, like right, like here's the mouth and the nostril, and then like he's like got a hand up, like wiping blood away. You can really see it, so that might work, right? Like just wiping some blood away. Um, or you could do something. Um, because he caught himself bent over, so maybe it's like more like the view, like close up on the top of the head, and you can just see blood like dripping down as maybe like he's looking up, angry. I think that's obviously super sloppy, but you get the idea, I think. Where it's like kind of looking up and blood's dripping down. Um, my wife's got a call coming in, and then which maybe that might be the way to go. And then let's see. T'Challa throws a punch, and we're close up on Eric blocking, slapping that punch out of the way. So there's obviously a bunch of ways I could do that as well. So I've been thinking about that. So you're fighting someone, right? Quick, slap it away this way, slap it away that way, or slap it away like boom. And I kind of like think that might be like visually more like cool, where it's like he's blocking because then he could counter or something like that. So I think that's what I'm gonna try to. So it'd be um, yeah, like the punch come in, and then the blocking hand. flapping it away, and then you'd see like Eric's. He pleased with himself here down here, like I'm gonna mess up T'Challa, right? Something like that. And then Black Panther sneered at us. His Hunter's eyes narrowed into on a Black Panther, not the Black Panther, a Black Panther. Right? So like it's staring, so I'm gonna need to get a like Panther reference for this one. I actually do the drawing. Straight, I mean, it's staring straight at it. I want it staring into the reader. Uh, let's see. Close up. Eric's hand grips T'Challa's throat, and we're close up under T'Challa's chin. Eric's hand has bruised and scraped knuckles. Hmm. Part of me wants to do that from the side. Like, the throat. You can see the hands coming, fingers coming around as he's choking them. So that's one option. But another option would be, let's see. So chin's up. And you see like the thumb, the hands. He's choking. The only thing with doing it this way is I don't know if I get a good enough look on the knuckles, right? Like, so if like one of the keys is you want to see that Eric's hands are scraped and bruised, and it's you know, like this. Like, am I gonna get enough? And maybe I will. Like, I gotta. Might want to take do some reference pieces and everything like that. So that's what. So it seems like the panels I'm gonna need like the most. Like, obviously I'll need a reference of a panther, right? So I get something that looks like an actual panther there. Um, and then I like this already. Like, that's kind of like I like that move. Um, as my slap away. Um, and then um, and then I think the eye will be fine. But these four, like I have multiple options so far to decide on. But I like coordinating this one and this one together. So like if he's down like splash ground, I think looking up might be rather than um the one where he's standing rubbing blood away. Though I could still have him looking up here and then like a hand down catching some of the blood maybe. And he's like wiping some blood away. So that's an option. All right, and then see Eric hand. See, close in on Eric's mouth, sneering in grim satisfaction. Gotta be careful how close I get, because like part of what makes a good here, part of what makes a good sneer, I'll use this, or I break this stuff. Um, is when you have the nose, right? And you have that coming off. Part of it, what makes a good sneer is that line there where it's like almost like it's like a little, yeah, a little bit of smirk to it, like because grant you have to have that satisfaction, right? So I don't want to get too close where I miss some of that facial lines. And I also want to make sure it's not too smiley, right? Um, so I gotta be careful. Um, Walk that edge. And then last panel I think is a roaring panther, right? Yeah, and I think again that'll need a um, let's maybe something like classic I can't believe we're acting like we've seen those things where the, the big cat like rears and kind of tilts its head as it lets out its roar something. Right. All right. So this is so what I would do. What normally like again when I'm doing pages and stuff I'm building right. Um so I got real sloppy right now, and then all right now we gotta like we'll pull stuff in and get stuff tighter. Um and like that starts with I normally will just bring make a little bit more opacity on the stuff that you're going to be viewing so that it doesn't get in the way uh of me drawing over it, right? So like it's somewhat um uh see through, right? So I can do something a little bit better and more right uh without like I have my thumbnail underneath lately. All right, so I got a couple out. Let's do this grid, like somewhat legit. Basics of where I'm at page wise aren't good. I'm gonna do it. So this I'm gonna try to be better than I was on the last couple pages where I'm not labeling anything, so it's like pain in the butt later. I'm gonna try to be better. So let's start gridding out something a little bit more legit. We'll probably try to fix these grid lines like more like in Photoshop. And the question I'm thinking as I'm sitting here is like, do I have spaces between the panels or do I lock them in sort of tight and we're bumping against each other? I'm thinking I'm gonna have them bump against each other. I want all these shots are close up. So that tells me the writer, without talking to him, obviously, I think there'd be some communication if this is like, if I was really working with this writer. But it tells me you want things to feel tight, like you're like real granular, like. So I'm gonna keep it tight. I'm gonna keep them locked together, kind of like I did on my like mock grid. Um, so I'm just gonna do it that way and see how it looks when I like start getting some actual uh, work done in there. So, all right, start start So one. All right. So let's start looking at some pencil work here. I want to make sure I get this exactly how he describes it. Close up of Eric's angry eye. That's all it's described as. Angry eye. Get the, so the brow. Brow is going to be important to making this look angry, obviously. Don't like that. The joys of digital work. Quickly, like, get rid of stuff. All right. I think what I might want to do is bring this down a little. So if I bring that down a little, it gives me more room to play with the. Hey, this is my first quick sketch, like trying to. That's why I labeled it pencils one. Like I'll get something, every time. Like at least the way I work is I'm just building like on top of one layer on top of the next. These eyes come dark. Yeah, this is obviously gonna have to be fixed somewhere, but you get the idea there. I gotta decide like where I want some lighting on this eye, reflection. Like what classic is obviously. I want it to emphasize wherever I put the light, I want it to help emphasize that rage. So I might do it instead of in the back, like in the front like that. Mm. So it's kind of the thought, something like that, maybe. Alright. I don't know. To be cleaned up, but getting the idea. Let's see. I'm gonna go down to, you know, 5 pencils. So, um, because I want to make sure I get like I'm starting thinking this is the one like I kind of like where I'm going with that the most, right? Where I'm not going to need a reference since I don't have any references handy yet. All right, so if I'm punching, okay, a lot of form. You know, I'm bleeding into the other panel right now, but that's just to get my I got in the final one. Obviously, I won't. Like, it's just to get my knuckles and everything right. Like, and maybe I need to move it over. Like, and like I said, I there's tons of options like where how you'd be blocking, slapping that away, and everything like that while still keeping your hands close in a good defensive position. I've always kind of like just I'm gonna boom, just keep my hand on the side. Don't because if you slap away and you miss, right? Killmonger's superhuman. He doesn't miss those things. But anyway, um, so I always I'm gonna do the just boom like he's slapping it away that way. And it'll be palm open. Um, so um, and like when I really start tightening the pencils, I'll probably use my phone and take a picture of my hand to make sure like I get my hand right because like hands are hard. So, no surprise, hands are hard to draw. So, um, but yeah. I don't like that. The one thing I'm looking at this I don't like is the fit. His block is pretty low on the fist, not the wrist. Like, but that might be something I adjust as I tighten my pencils. Um, the big thing is one showing that he's blocking it, um, slapping it away. Um, I haven't read the whole script of the issues, so like I don't know if at this point he's like slapping away like he's toying with T'Challa. Um, I know like um it kind of depends on where we're at in the story and everything like that. But you got Killmonger. do you think? Just if he is toying with him, he might have a little bit of like he's enjoying. Like, oh, he's trying to hit me. He can't hit me. A little bit of a smile on his face there, but still like rage in his eyes. Right. So that's what I'm gonna be. What I'm gonna try to go for. Um, as I start to tighten this up. Obviously, that's not. I gotta make sure I have the hair match. Which I don't know if it's like the movie where he's got the dreads and the tight shave. So I'm gonna have to. But that's probably what the way I'm gonna do it, just to like, so I don't have to look at any of the comics because I don't want to like be tainted in my art like by the real thing. Gotta go T right, and that I think I gotta look. I'm gonna have to look. You get the idea, I think. Again, want to make sure that when the eyes are done, and I get real tight on those, like that they get the still got that rage. I like that. It's more pencil size, but got the idea there. All for forearm. And then um, maybe I have some like light reflecting off the scars, so you kind of see like then he had all the scars all over him from all his kills or whatever, right? So that might be something something to do there, I'm thinking. So, all right, I kind of like where I'm going there. Let's uh let's look at what I'm gonna do in panel two. A little better. Again, Eric's fist smashes into T'Challa's face. Right, so it's based on this first page. Pretty one sided fight. Now, one thing I could do is like kind of mirror those, right? So Eric's that. So Eric would be coming punching. If he's punching right-handed, his fists coming this way, right? Like it's pretty big. I have to shrink that. What am I doing? First of all, I'm gonna have an issue if I don't get my layers mixed up. Right, so that's gonna be crazy, but it's just a mock up right now. Go, go, knuckle. All right, so he's got that fist coming, and then T'Challa face maybe it's like man, like the nose. They spitting blood. Right. So it's like getting punched, boom, just blood. Right. All right. I think that's the way to go. 'Cause the other thing doing it from this angle like that is that it does for me is I got plenty of opportunity to like mark up and like really battle damage these knuckles as well, right? To show that they've been fighting for a while, right? In I think it's panel 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. Um, the writer um talks about like uh Killmonger's knuckles being all scraped up and bloody. This gives me another shot at that, so even if I don't get like the perfect shot to show it there, I'm still getting that information across to the reader. And so I think that might be that might be smart. Realize now when I did the grid, I didn't fully do the grid. But all right, so we're building, right? So you get the idea, right? So each layer, each piece, each layer that I do, I would just keep build. I'm gonna keep building up these pencils. Now, if I was gonna ink these panels myself, right? Some of these might be enough. Like this eye one, that might be enough pencils, right? It's not at a professional level or anything like that, but it's at a level enough that's like, all right, I'm gonna just tighten it when I jump on ink and everything. But since this particular page I want to try to do just in pencils and just leave it at that so I can show non-inked work as well. I'm gonna have to go over that in another layer and like keep and refine it and make it tight and exactly the way I want it to the finished product. And so I'll just keep building with pencils. And that's one of the cool things working digitally like this is I could just keep building up, 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 up. Um, with actual pencil and paper and everything like that, you can't always do that. Though I do love, like doing a layout digitally, and then you just get paper with a light box maybe in and stuff like that. So I'm like, I'll probably do a stream where I can have a camera and stuff, not just sharing my screen, but on the paper and do something like that at some point too. So, but not before Comic Con. So I'm just gonna keep working on the way we have it. Um, now This one right here, this page, I want to do a reference for the hand because the hand's super important. I want to make sure I think about how I'm going to catch myself where the hand is right. And then I'll need a reference for the two panthers. So these three for sure. I'm gonna need reference pictures that I'm gonna do for myself. Um, Now references were a thing that I shied away from for a long time. Like I get myself in trouble as an artist where I think I'm like not a true artist if I can't just out of my head. In fact, even on some of the works I'm gonna bring with me to Comic Con, I think that had I been a little bit better at uh, being ahead and using some reference, I might even have it a little tighter than I like. I'm thinking of a specific Luke Cage one, but overall, I think that works pretty good. So, basically, what I'm going to do is I will start getting references. So, because for those ones, and then um, uh, I probably can do this one without a reference, but not if I decide to bring that hand up. Like anytime I'm doing close ups on hands, I'm gonna try to. I like using a reference. Like if you look at um this right here, that close up on that hand there, that's my hand. I took a picture of it using the timer on my camera, that kind of thing. I think that helps gets me the best looking work. Um, but if it's good enough for you know Neil Adams to use references and Alex Ross and everybody, like I can use references too. So I gotta get out of my own head. But anyway, I'm gonna because I need to get spend some time taking some pictures and stuff like that, get references so I can get further along in the work. I'm gonna end the stream here. And but I will maybe jump in on another stream Monday. You can see where I'm at, and I'll just keep working from there. But have a good day, and I look forward to showing everybody the final pieces that I'm bringing to New York, and I can't wait to have a good time at Comic Con.